Yo, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. Excited to be here for another live stream. My name is Justin Moore. I'm the founder of Creator Wizard, where I teach you how to find and negotiate your dream sponsorships. So let me know where you're tuning in from. I am live on a bunch of different platforms. Hope you had a nice Thanksgiving last week. If you celebrated, obviously I didn't do a stream. I was so sick last week, guys. I had the flu. It was terrible. I was basically laid out for like the entire week. I couldn't go to Thanksgiving with my family. It was awful, actually. My whole family got sick. So other than my wife, thankfully. But glad to be back here for another live stream. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about, can sponsorships actually pay your bills? This is something we talk about quite a bit on my videos and live streams and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about it in a little bit of a different way, which is that, is it even possible to derive a consistent income working with brands? Yeah, we got lots of folks tuning in on TikTok today too. What's going on? King TDJ6, Alyssa Solis 872. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're talking all about sponsorships and brand deals. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat because we're going to be doing a Q&A as well. We've got Aaron's House of Legos, Jared Reed. What's up, Jared? Good to see you, man. Fourth born child all the way from the Philippines. We've got Kaylee Carroll. Thanks, Kaylee. Yes, definitely doing better here. Man, we got a bunch of people on TikTok. What is going on with that? Good to see y'all here today as well. All right, so let's kick it off here. I got a few things I want to talk about before we dive into the Q&A. All right, so can sponsorships actually pay your bills? Okay, well, the first thing to consider is that they can if you change your attitude around working with brands in general, okay? In my experience, a lot of creators look at brand partnerships as kind of a pain in the butt, okay? They would just prefer to make income through things like AdSense, right? Or digital products or something like that. And of course, I agree that those things are great, right? I do those things, right? But when I sit creators down and I explain to them just how much money you can actually earn through brand partnerships, sometimes a little bit of inconvenience related to, let's say, the feedback process or, revising an asset is worthwhile, right? And so, a good example of this is my wife and I are currently doing a pharmaceutical partnership right now, like a big brand. And they asked us to submit a quite in-depth concept, including like pre-drafting the copy and the caption and everything like that. And then the agency just came back to us yesterday, actually, saying that the brand decided that they wanted to change direction, basically, right? And they asked if we could submit a new concept. And so I think a lot of creators would get very annoyed by that, right? And push back but like, let me tell you, they're paying us a lot of money, okay? And so we said, sure, no problem, right? Because again, like you guys know, I've been on the other side of this. I've ran an agency before, and you better believe that agency rep breathed a huge sigh of relief when we said that, right? When we said, sure, no problem, right? Because there's also, I'm sure, other creators that are part of this campaign that pitched a fit about the change, right? And so, but here we are making this person's life easier. And honestly, that person is going to remember that the next time that they're recruiting for the next campaign. Right. And so understanding that this is a business transaction, right? This is a business relationship, and just kind of rewiring how you think about deriving income working with brands can be a game changer. Right. Yeah. Paxton Poles says, yes, it's so nice when the creators are easy to work with. Yes. Paxton Poles, tell me, are you a brand, or do you work like with an agency, or are you like work in marketing or something? We got some validation here from Paxton Poles, right? Sugar_URL says, I agree. You want to make sure that everyone's happy, right? Yes. The live keeps pausing. I don't know why the live keeps pausing. I'm sorry to hear that. Yes. Paxton Poles says, yes, I own an agency. All right. So we got some validation here, right? So they know too. Yeah. And Alex Tim, what's going on? Good to see you. D, what's going on? Good to see you. Scott Sanchez, what's going on, man? Alumni of Brand Deal Wizard in the house. Good to see you, man. All right. So yeah, on the topic, for those of you just tuning in, can sponsorships actually pay your bills? Well, they can if you stop obsessing over getting paid your standard rate on every single deal. One of the biggest unlocks for me when I started thinking about our sponsorship strategy like a diversified stock portfolio, right? How much you net on each individual deal or stock is kind of irrelevant, right? What's most important is how much you earn consistently and what your returns are over time. And so at the end of the year, right, we're coming up on the end of the year, we're starting to think about those taxes that we got to do. Oh man, right? Do you think that you're going to remember that one deal that paid you 10% less than your usual rate? Or are you going to look at the grand total and be like, dang, I pulled in 6 figures this year. This was a great year, right? And so stop fighting over pennies on every single deal if the offer is fair from the brand or from the agency, right? The last thing that you want is for trivial stuff like, these nickels and dimes to sour your relationship with the brand or the agency and torpedo your chances of winning future business. You guys know I'm so big about this idea of turning these relationships into sustained partnerships. And so one of your top priorities when you're trying to understand how can I create consistent income working with brands is how can you just be a good partner? How can you be someone that's actually enjoyable to work with? You're a good person. You're friendly. You understand that there's flexibility needed sometimes when you do these types of collaborations, right? We've got Winston Marsh tuning in. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. We got Deals with Mel tuning in as well. Shannon skipped to my life. He said, I'm pitching a brand for a year-long collab at a quote-unquote lower rate, better for their goals in mind. Well, you know what, Shannon? I mean, that just shows that you understand that sometimes flexibility, it makes sense to be flexible even on your rate if it is going to turn into consistent income for you, something that you can rely on every single month. I'm super proud of you, Shannon. That's glad to hear that you have the humility to do something like that, right? And so before we go into the Q&A, drop your questions in the chat here because I'm going to address those in a second. But I wanted to talk about one more thing related to this whole idea about sponsorships paying your bills. So can sponsorships actually pay your bills? Well, they can if you stop looking at all of your collaborations as one-off transactions, right? And versus ensuring that every single deal you do has the potential to turn into a long-term partnership. How do you do that? You might be wondering. Well, it starts with setting expectations with the brand that it's likely going to take several different activations to move the needle, right? Just doing one post is often not a large enough sample size to determine whether the partnership was a success or not, right? And so you have to have that conversation at the beginning, right? And then throughout the partnership, you're keeping track of other unique ways in which you could promote the brand, right? Whether that's on a different platform or maybe a different feature or benefit that they hadn't considered before, right? So then, by the way, once you actually publish the content or the work that you'd created for this initial partnership, you note down all the feedback that you're getting from your audience. Right? Both positive and negative, by the way, that you can highlight to the brand when you put together your post-campaign report. You're probably thinking, post-campaign report? What the heck is that? Well, that is a quantitative and qualitative analysis that you do of the campaign once it's over, where you also identify what you can focus on for the next activation next month or next quarter, right? And so the key is understanding the key to understanding how sponsorships can pay your bills is realizing that you can never drop the ball on your conversations with brand partners, right? You're always engaging with them about the next idea that you have to move the needle for them based on their marketing objectives. right? And so I think that this is a huge, huge insight, not just as a creator, but just a business owner in general. If you want to create reliable, consistent income, you have to devise ways in which you can have offers, essentially, where it's easy for a brand to say, yes, hey, I'm going to hire this person over and over and over. Because if you don't advertise that that's even something that they can do, well, then they're not going to do it. They're not going to come to you and be like, hey, we want to pay you every month to do this. It's actually going to take, the onus is actually on you to go to them and pitch something like that. And I realize that there's a little bit of like discomfort there or unfamiliarity with how you actually even make that pitch to a brand. And let me be the first to tell you that you're going to probably get a lot of no's, and that's okay. But all it takes is, one or a handful of brands saying, hey, you know what? I understand that this is going to be valuable. We get that. And so let's give it a shot. Right. And so another thing that a lot of creators ask me oftentimes is like, when I am like pitching a brand initially for the first time, should I be leading with something that's sustained, right? Like a long-term partnerships versus a one-off thing? And my candid answer, honestly, is that it's going to be really difficult to convince a brand to hire you for a 12-month partnership if they've never worked with you before, right? Because I'll be, like we've talked about, I'll be the first one to say, like, a lot of creators are not professional. They don't understand the quality, they don't understand what it means to have a business relationship. They don't meet deadlines. They're not communicative. They're not friendly. They're not a pleasant person to work with, right? And so why would a brand, especially a brand who's had experience working with those types of creators, roll the dice on someone they've never met? And so I believe that it's a much smarter move to try to pitch a really, really kick butt one-off partnership to illustrate, so they get some experience under their belt of what it's like working with you, and then you pitch the long-term thing. It's just going to be, you're going to get frustrated. It's going to be really difficult to convince any brand to hire you for a 3-6 month term. I'm not going to say it can't happen. It definitely can, but it's going to be an uphill battle trying to convince them. Again, remember, it's not, when you are pitching someone, oftentimes it's not just that person who's the decision maker. Sometimes it is if it's a smaller marketing team or smaller organization, but most of the time it's like there's like a bunch of people, there's a bunch of different decision makers that, if they're going to be spending thousands of dollars hiring you and collaborating with you, that has to go through like multiple different people for them to all go, okay, yeah, let's pay this person $20,000 over the next 6 months, right? That's not just going to be signed, like rubber stamped, right? And so it's going to be much easier for that contact to advocate for you internally if they have some results that they can point to and be like, hey, we worked with Justin once. It went really well. He's really great to work with. Let's do this again. Going back to that pharmaceutical company sponsorship example that I just gave a little bit ago, right? This is a great example, is that we haven't even done the partnership yet. We haven't even created the content yet. But what I am illustrating through my flexibility, our flexibility through this, even the concept phase, this is just another data point for this agency rep to go to bat for us on future campaigns, for them to be like, hey, yeah, maybe this could turn into, if we go and we pitch, hey, let's do like a year-long thing, they'll be like, oh, you know what? Justin was really flexible when that thing came up where we had to do a whole new concept because the brand changed their mind or whatever, right? So it's, again, you're like, it's all these check boxes in the person's mind that will ultimately be the deciding factor when you come to them with these esoteric type of collaboration proposals, right? So let me know if that makes sense. And let's see. We've got some folks in here. Paxton Pulse is mentioning Think Media. Yeah, big fan of the Think Media folks. They definitely cover growth strategy, like Paxton Pulse says. Justin covers brand deals. That's exactly right. I cover exclusively sponsorship strategy. That's all I talk about. So I appreciate you clarifying that. Paxton Pulse means a lot. And let's see who else we got. Oh, we got Architectural Sheet Metal 101. What's going on? Good to see you here. We got a question here. What would you suggest we do when first working with a new brand? And then another question here. One other thing. How does the brand measure the success of doing business with us? So great questions here. And so, when first working with a brand, I mean, I think it's a lot of what I just mentioned. It's as important like as important as doing great work and creating great compelling content is illustrating to the brand like that you're just an easygoing person and that you are going to be enjoyable to work with. Remember, there are people on the other side of these brand relationships. It's not just a faceless name in your email inbox. This is a human being. This is a person on the other side of that, right? And so if you can remember that and have empathy when it comes to these types of relationships, if they come back to you with revisions that you feel are either unnecessary or are going to, screw up the, the flow of the content that you've created or whatever it is, right? You think it's going to sound too artificial and too much like a rehearsed ad read or whatever, understand that this is a person. It's okay to go back to them and give them candid feedback. Like a lot of creators think that, brands are just going to like freak out if you push back on any piece of feedback. Man, this has happened so many times where, a brand has come to us with, let's say, like 10 different pieces of feedback, like even time-stamped, like do this, right? And we have gone back and be like, hey, you know what? These 7 edit requests are totally fine. Like we can make that happen. These 3, we actually think it would be better to keep it as is for the following reason. And the brand or agency has come back and be like, thank you so much. That's very helpful feedback. Sounds good. A lot of creators think that you can't push back on stuff like that. And you absolutely can. Like at the end of the day, they may say, no, you actually do have to do it. And then you have to cross that bridge. But oftentimes, again, you can lean on your own expertise as a creator and provide that feedback. And so Architectural Sheet Metal 101, to your point, that's one thing that you can do when you're first working with the brand is don't be afraid to flex your expertise. Say, hey, you know what? I have been a creator for many years, and this is my recommendation. I understand that this is what you're saying, but in my experience, I actually think it would be better if we kept it or did the other thing instead. And what will that illustrate to a brand? Like that's someone that they know that you're confident in your craft. They know that you have an understanding of what works well on social media, right? And don't be afraid to provide recommendations that they haven't even like mentioned or brought up. Like if they, let's say, for example, here's a great example. If they send you the landing page, right, that they want you to link to in your content, let's say, right, I don't know, sheet metal, maybe it's a sheet metal distributors who's hiring you for this campaign. I'm making it up, right, for you. And so the URL that they send you is sheetmetaldistributors.com/101, right? For like, that's your code, promo code, architectural 101 or whatever. And then you visit that landing page and you like, in your own assessment, think that it's not a great landing page, right? There's it's very confusing. There's no real tie-in to the fact that the people landing on here are from, your video or your channel, your, pardon me, or your website or whatever. Don't be afraid to go to the brand and be like, hey, you know what? I have some recommendations on how we can optimize this landing page to improve conversions, because doing that behooves you because it will improve the outcome of the partnership, right? You're going to get more conversions. You're going to get more, people filling out their contact form or, filling out, downloading the app or making buying a product or whatever it is. And so don't be afraid to provide that feedback. Yeah, maybe they're going to be like, well, sorry, we can't make any changes to it, and fine. But like at the very least, you did your part to like provide, to try to increase the chances that this campaign really goes well. Right. So again, like I've talked about this before, like you're putting on this kind of consultant hat, right? You are, illustrating to the brand that you're willing, you are invested in the outcome of this partnership, right? And let's see, from Baxton Bull says, brands almost never get feedback. I've heard from brands that they really appreciate it. So this is Paxton Pulse. They run an agency, a creator agency doing this, and they're validating this, that brands almost never receive feedback. And when they do, they really appreciate it. Right. So again, Paxton Pulse over here in the chat is just validating everything I'm talking about. I didn't even know that was coming, but I appreciate you. Right. Carolyn Lopez here says something interesting here, which I want to cover. I feel like I don't have the experience to be in the consultant seat, at least not yet. Can you tell me a little bit more about why you feel that way? Is it because you feel like you don't have enough followers or enough viewership or enough experience working with brands? Tell me why you feel that way, because I have I have a rebuttal for you, but I want to pull that thread a little bit more. We've got Randy Stover tuning in from LinkedIn. What's up, Randy? Good to see you. And we've got KMH family. What's going on, Hannity? Good to see you. And Aaron's House of Lego said, how many subscribers do you need to have in order to have a sponsor? Well, Aaron, my honest answer is 0. I have a video on my channel called this, like how to get sponsorships with 0 subscribers. It's a silly video, but like I titled it that way because I want to illustrate that there's so many other ways in which you can partner and provide value with, two brands that have nothing to do with how many subs you have. So let's say, for example, I'm assuming, I think, you have like a Lego, building tutorial type channel. Imagine if one pitch that you made, let's say to a local business in your community, you pitch them and say, I would love to build a Lego replica of your store that you can put in the front window. I can feature it on my channel. You can feature it on your social media. You put it in the store. We can make some cool content that you can also post on social media, this type of thing. That is a sponsorship. That is a partnership. Yeah, they're not, the main thrust of your proposal or your pitch is not, hey, I'm going to talk about you on Aaron's House of Legos. It's that I am going to flex my craft to serve you in a unique way. So that is a different type of partnership, right? But do you see how many subscribers you have or how many followers you have is completely irrelevant in that scenario? Right? So one of the takeaways that I hope you get from following me and being on these live streams and just consuming this type of content in general is I hope to empower you, to help you understand that you're more than your follower count. You're more than your subscriber count. One of the reasons that people follow you on social media is because of the content that you create and the craft and the expertise that you have. And so understanding and sitting and thinking outside of the box about how I can serve other people, other brands, other companies, not just, multinational organizations, but also in your local community. There's so much opportunity for, especially all y'all, smaller creators or, aspiring creators out there. There's so much opportunity in your local community to serve brands in that way. Because I guarantee you a lot of them don't have full-time marketing people, and they're really eager to figure this whole thing out. They don't understand social media. They don't understand how it can move the needle for their business in a meaningful way. So you can be that person. Maybe that's something they pay you every month for, to provide them that expertise. Yes, it's a different challenge to say, how can I, get more foot traffic into this like brand's, local bakery or something, right? But what a fun challenge. I think that's a fun challenge, right? We've got Janet. What's going on? Skincare and beauty. Perky, Janet from Perky Perkins. What's going on? Carol elaborated here about the feeling like she doesn't have any experience to be in the consultant seat. Carol says, I can't speak to the data. You know how to educate brands that it's not just about the number of followers. For example, I am a brand ambassador and I did a reel on Facebook that got 17,000 views, but no sales for me. I would like to move from brand ambassador to brand deal. So I'm curious, Carol. We all know. So here's a few things. There's a couple things that we can learn. Let's actually double click on that like story, that anecdote about 17,000 views on a Facebook reel, but it didn't actually generate any sales. So why is that? Why do you think that? Why do you think that you didn't get any sales from that video? I think a lot of creators are nervous to actually introspect and realize, okay, like they immediately think, oh man, my video sucked. I suck. I'm not good at driving sales or whatever. When in reality, if you can be objective and let's analyze the video, you think, okay, maybe there was a better way in which I could have made the hook. Maybe there was a better way in which I could have made a more compelling call to action. Is there a call to action in the video? I don't know, like, hey, click the link in my bio or click the caption, 20% off your first purchase or whatever it is. Is there an opportunity could that video have been improved to actually drive results? I think what a lot of creators realize is that when you construct content, you have to construct content differently based on the outcome that you're trying to achieve. So a lot of brands commingle this or conflate this outcome as well. And they don't understand that if you want brand awareness, it's a very different type of content than if you want a conversion goal, right? So if it's a conversion goal, then the way in which you create the content is very different. It's going to be very much trying to appeal to consumers much lower in the funnel, people who have purchase intent, people who are maybe going to do an impulse buy, and you're going to talk to the most important feature or benefit that will encourage them to purchase, and you're going to give them a very compelling reason to actually convert, to make a sale, to download the app, to redeem a coupon or whatever. And so maybe that's, a discount. Maybe that's an easy way in which they can, make the sale or whatever it is, versus a brand awareness campaign where that's where the views are much more important, right? And you're talking about a much higher level awareness of the brand or the product or things like that, right? And so it's your job, talking about being a consultant, it's your job oftentimes to educate a brand, Carol, that a brand awareness, something that gets lots and lots of views, that is serving a totally different purpose than something that you're trying to actually drive revenue. And not a lot of brands, sometimes it'll be like, hey, what's success to you? What's a goal for you, brand? And they'll be like, brand awareness, lots of views and lots of sales. And it's like your job to educate them that those are two different assets. That's two different, and this is a perfect opportunity for you to upsell them and say, hey, I actually, if that's the case, if you want to get, more brand awareness, around your brand name, around your product line and all this stuff, and you're facing stiff competition from a competitor or whatever, but you also want to drive sales, fine. But in that scenario, we need to create multiple different touch points for this content. Let's do 4 videos then. And the first 2 are going to be focused on, maybe the first one's on conversion, next one's on brand awareness, next one's on conversion, next one on brand awareness. So you have a mix, you have a larger sample size to illustrate to the brand that it's going to take a larger amount of data, a larger amount of touch points, not only with me continuing to emphasize to my audience that I'm continuing to love and use this product, but there's different ways in which you can tell the story of the brand. And again, that is how you are a consultant. You tell that story. There's this marketing principle called the psychological sales principle called the marketing rule of 7, right? And this is like something that was kind of coined by the movie studios in the 1930s, where it took 7 times for a consumer to hear about a movie before they got their butt in the seat. And so you could have that conversation with the brand if they're trying to give you these competing goals. And again, a lot of this comes down to educating yourself. That's why you're on this live stream. You may not feel like a consultant or someone that can actually knowledgeably have these conversations with brands, because you haven't educated yourself yet. Even if you don't have the experience per se doing hundreds of brand partnerships, you don't need to. If you educate yourself around best practices in social media and you sign up for the industry trade magazines like Adweek and Ad Age and, Marketing Dive and, these types of things, Digiday, you read the articles. If you send an article to a brand and be like, hey, here are some best practices around short form content. Here's some best practices around how we should do X, Y, Z. They are going to look at you as an expert. You think that brands have all the answers? They don't. Trust me. I've been in those rooms with the brands. They're equally as clueless as you feel right now. And so if you can educate yourself by being on this podcast or being on this live stream, right, then you are going to be ahead. Okay. So a lot of it comes down to imposter syndrome, Carol, and I'm really glad you brought it up because not everyone, has the humility to admit something like that. And I really recognize you because I think a lot of people feel this way. And so what I'm here to tell you is that, it doesn't take that much to provide value in a meaningful way, in a tactical way. Scott says, I feel judged because he's a CMO for a brand here. You're a rare exception. You're the one, you are someone who invested in my course, dang it, and realized that there's value in understanding how this ecosystem can fit together and how you can, forge more cohesive partnerships. And so you are an exception. You are 100% an exception, Scott. Okay. Kara, I hope that's helpful. And you know what? Janet said something here, which I want to acknowledge. Carol, I try to establish with the brand what their main goal is. I try to push for brand awareness. It's at time, can take multiple times to see an ad before buying. That's exactly right, Janet. Thank you for mentioning that. The Miller fam, what's up, Steven? Good to see you, man. This is so dang good, Justin. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Complexity Anxiety in TikTok chat said, can I just use my phone to start vlogging? Why not? Man, the picture quality, the video quality on basically any smartphone these days is totally sufficient to start blogging. 100%. Yes. Randy Stover said, hey man, at what point do we need a manager? And how do we go about finding one? I'm on every platform with hundreds of thousands of followers, millions of views a week, and I get zero brands reaching out. So Randy, I have two recommendations for you. 3 recommendations, actually. The first one is like optimizing the way in which your creator identity is on display to brands is very important. And so that's actually something that I go into in my course, Gifted to Paid, is really understanding how you're presenting yourself to brands, making it ensure that there's very low friction, so that, finding you is easy. I mean, that at the end of the day, here's a very concrete example. It's as simple as ensuring you have your email address in plain text in your bio and on your website or wherever. Very easy. A lot of people, like Instagram, for example, people think, there's that field where you can message people through the Instagram app. A lot of brands do not use the Instagram app itself to reach out to creators. A lot of these platforms, they scrape your bio and pull it into their software. And so when brands are using these to actually look for creators to partner with, you want to make it easy for them. You're lowering the barrier, right? They're just copying and pasting your email address, putting it into their email client like G Suite or Outlook or whatever, and emailing you. So make it easy for them, right? This is a very small example of like curating your identity and making it easier to attract brands to you. So that's just a small example. So that's number one. The second thing is like understanding that you don't need to wait for them to reach out to you, right? And I know even regardless of the fact that you have hundreds of thousands of followers, Randy, congratulations, it's amazing, but so do lots of other creators. So what is it about you? What are the dream brands that you want to work with? And go out there and get it, man. Craft these pitches. I've got some content on my channel all about how to pitch a brand, how to go out and actually design a cold, speculative proposal to a brand in terms of, illustrating to them how you can help them accomplish some marketing objectives, right? So that's number 2. And then the third thing is, in terms of finding a manager, you have to make a decision. A couple points I want to make here. You have to make a decision about what type of manager you want. It sounds like you are wanting someone who's going to hustle for you, someone who's going to be out there and they're going to be pounding the pavement and they're cold pitching on your behalf and all that stuff. That's someone that two things. You're either going to need to be prepared to pay them a retainer. So every month you're paying them a certain amount to go out there and pound the pavement. Or one thing that you can do is offer them a sweeter cut of the deal for opportunities that they catch and kill versus ones that come in inbound to you. So maybe if they, negotiate deals that come inbound through your business inquiries, bio or whatever, your website, maybe they only get 15% of that, but the ones that they catch and kill, they get 25%. So you need to incentivize them some way to do the footwork for you. Right. And maybe, if you are interested in getting someone who's a seasoned veteran in this, it's going to cost more. But if you want to nurture perhaps someone who is more junior, who's trying to break into this field, maybe you can nurture someone within your own community, Randy. This is a lot of creators are like, what are you talking about? But this is the best way to find folks who are talented is you literally make a post in your, stories or your community tab, or your email list or whatever. Hey, I am looking for someone to bring onto my team on a freelance basis to help me, nail more brand partnerships. Someone junior is okay. You can kind of teach them the ropes a little bit. You can enroll them in my course if you want. No, but seriously, I've actually had a lot of people do that. They enroll their brand manager or someone on their team in my course to learn this. And so that is absolutely something you can do. Right. And so, I would not overlook that as a tactic to potentially find someone to help you out with this kind of thing. And then in the last thing I would mention is that this is actually something new that I'm trying. I recently launched something called Wizards Guild, which is not management, but it's ongoing coaching. So one thing I've identified is that there are creators out there who do have inbound deal flow, and they actually need help evaluating and responding and strategizing to the opportunities that are coming to them on an ongoing basis. They don't want a manager. They don't want to give someone 15, 25% of their business or whatever. But they need, if they're putting, they're hopping on the phone, or they're okay doing the emails and all that stuff. But when they're putting together pricing and they're putting together proposals and stuff like that, they just want kind of a second opinion of like, hey, does this look good? Would you recommend any changes and so on? And so I've created this offer. It's $1,000 a month. So every Tuesday and Thursday morning, it's asynchronous, which is beautiful. Like you can send a short video or a URL to a proposal, a screen share, a voice note, whatever, and say, hey, like, what do you think? What would you, how would you handle this? And so it's me and Dee on my team for now. And we're the ones kind of coaching them on an ongoing basis. So there's basically 8 touch points at a minimum throughout the month, versus like hiring me for a one-on-one, which is $1,000 an hour. It's this opportunity to provide, have kind of a backstop of coaching, kind of coach in your pocket. And so this is brand new. This is something that we just launched about a month ago. I'm really excited at the prospect of this because I do think there's a need between like, being completely on your own and like second guessing yourself all the time versus having like a manager, which may not be a fit for everyone. And so this middle ground, I'm really excited about because I think it's going to serve, and we've already got some folks in it. So, who are getting a lot of great results. And so, excited to see that. So I know I went, talked about a bunch of different things there, Randy, but hopefully that's helpful. It's a hard, it's not for everyone. I understand it. We have never had a manager in our entire career. We've been a part of some YouTube networks over the years, and that's been kind of a mixed bag of success for us. But over the last, we haven't been in any networks or anything for the last, 6-7 years, something like that. And it's been fine for us. Part of it is that I just like this stuff. So I know I'm a little bit of a different, person than most. But I get it. It's tough. I actually have a YouTube video on my channel. I don't know if you've seen it, all about like the pros and cons of having a manager as a creator. So you might want to check that one out too. Let me take a swig as I read some of these. Okay. Marcus Presents, bro. Good to see you, man. It's been a long time. You are tuning in from Tokyo, Japan. Man, doing a little comedy tour here. Marcus, are you like kind of a big deal? You're doing a comedy tour in Japan? I know you've mentioned that you do stand-up and stuff, but you got to send me some of your stand-up acts or something. Clearly you must be making a name for yourself if you're touring. Am I going to see you with your Netflix special soon? Come on, man. Crazy. Congrats. That's awesome. Good to see you. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. So, Paxton Pulls is saying it takes on average, 7 times for conversion. Make your social media, about pages searchable. Brands use the search tools. Exactly. Reach out to them and use the rope. Reach out to them and use the rope method. Paxton Pulls. Holy cow. You speaking my language here. Yes. I have a deal with a channel where in-kinds are 7.5% and deals I get are 15%, or inbounds are 7.5% and deals I get are 15%. There we go. See, just an example right there. This is a real deal that Paxton Pulls mentioned that they get a sweeter cut if it's something that they catch and kill. So love to see that example. Thanks for sharing that. Monica McGahan, what's going on, Monica? I always remember the story of a girl who had millions of followers who sold nothing versus someone who had hundreds of followers and sold thousands. You know what? I mean, I think that's a really great, man, I am that person, Monica. For real. I don't, I get hundreds of views on my YouTube videos on average. But you know what? I very intentionally, the call to action for virtually every single piece of content that I create on my videos on social media, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, whatever, is join my email list. And I just passed 9,000 creators on my email list. And virtually the only way in which most folks hear about my courses and my coaching and things like that is through my email list. Not from social media. I literally did not even talk about my launch of my gifted to paid course on social media once. And I made $19,000 in 5 days of enrollments, right? So it's the power of having a strategy, right? Having a large following is not everything. But if you can be intentional behind how you are, like behind your content strategy and have a purpose behind what you're doing. My strategy is very simple. I am going to give away like a ludicrous amount of stuff for free. That is my strategy. Because there will always be a concentrated few who want to pay for more detailed assistance, coaching, courses, whatever it is. And so that's my strategy. I understand that that's not for everyone. Other people who are monetizing their, influence in different ways, indirectly through sponsorships and other, types of affiliate marketing and so on. That's fine. But you still need to have a strategy in place, right? And so, like a good example of like Monica, that point is just because you're like, I think a great example of this is TikTok. There's lots of people who blew up over the last 2 years during the pandemic, whatever. It would seem to be quite easy to have a viral video and get 30,000 followers overnight or whatever. Like those 30,000 people likely are not like diehard fans of yours. They saw one funny video that you did, where you were stitching something or you did a funny sound or whatever, and they followed you because whatever, like everyone was following everyone, right? But is that audience actually engaged? Would they buy something from you? Would they go out and purchase something if you did a sponsorship? What, I don't know, maybe. But like, I think a lot of people are reckoning with this thing where a follower does not necessarily equal a customer. A follower does not necessarily equal someone that you are influencing, right? And so you have to take a good hard look at yourself in the mirror and really think, okay, what is my strategy behind this whole thing I'm doing on the internet, right? Because if you're just aimlessly creating content, chasing views, chasing followers, as we've talked about, a lot of folks have chimed in here that doesn't necessarily translate into income, whether it's sponsorships or sales or whatever it is, right? And so I think it's really, really important to be intentional here. Pax Impulse said one thing here: one channel, 3 million views, one sale. Another creator got 30,000 views and 15 sales of a $150 product. Another example here, right? So this stuff happens. And it's up to you. Like, here's the thing. Have you ever sat and thought, those of you who have done sponsorships, have you ever sat and thought and looked at a piece of sponsored content and thought, how could I make this content more compelling? How could I drive more sales with this content? Have you ever sat and thought of gone back and look at the last, let's say 10 pieces of content, 10 articles, 10 podcast ad reads you've done, whatever medium you're in? Have you ever sat and thought, how can I improve myself? How can I improve the outcome for my partners here? Because virtually no one does that, right? But at the end of the day, that is something that's going to grow your business. That is something that's going to encourage brands and agencies to come back and partner with you again. Because not only are you someone who drives results, but you're someone who is looking to learn. You're someone who's looking to improve. If you're in any other job, any other field, you go back and if you want to advance, you go back and you get a master's degree or you get a professional certification or whatever you do, you learn, right? But somehow as creators, the stuff that we try to get better at is purely on the creative side. It's purely on getting better at editing and getting better at, thumbnails and all that stuff. And yes, all that stuff is important, but getting better at selling stuff, the psychology of understanding how to make a sale, if working with brands is something that you do or affiliate marketing or whatever, why are you not trying to get better at that? I hope you are. So, I think a lot of people feel like sales is icky. I just have to do this sponsorship to pay my bills or keep the lights on or whatever. And no. You can't look at it that way. This is an integral part of who you are as a creator if you're deriving income from this way, and you have to invest in your education to get better at it. So whether that's buying ebooks and listening to, things about the psychology of how to make a sale, about how to, market a product, sell a product, talk about a product, things like that. You should be doing that. You should be doing that. Monica says, The Psychology of Making a Sale, is that a book? Yeah, there's a lot of books around that topic. I'm going to see if I have I'm like a total nerd about this kind of stuff, Monica. And so I have a bunch of books that I've listened to over the years around this topic. Let me see if I can pull up my Audible library and quickly recommend some for you. Okay, so here's a couple good ones. Oversubscribed is a great one. Oversubscribed. To Sell is Human by Daniel Pink. Let me see here. Here's a good one. Negotiation Genius by Deepak Malhotra. That's about negotiation, my favorite topic. Launch is a good one by Jeff Walker. Get Different by Mike Michalowicz. Let's see. I listen to so many of these types. The $100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi is a really good one. How to Write Copy That Sells by Ray Edwards. I'm telling you, I have an infinite amount of books to recommend about this topic because this is like all I listen to. There's another one called Traction. I'm trying to remember I think it's Gabriel. I can't remember his name, but I can't find it right now. Anyways, like there's so many. There's a lot of books around this topic, and absolutely recommend like just investing in your knowledge around this topic. Great point here. I really like this idea. Paxton Poll says, I personally watch a lot of ads to see what they do that works. And I teach that to my creators. That is a great one. That is a really, really great one. I love doing that. Honestly, that is one of the things that we do with the secret research in our newsletter. If you're on our newsletter, if you're not, why aren't you on our newsletter? It's free. Creatorwizard.com/join, y'all. Let me pull up the URL. Come on, I'm shameless plug here. Creatorwizard.com/join is our newsletter. One of the perks, if you have referred at least one other creator to my newsletter, we do secret research on 5 brands every week who are partnering with creators. And so we actually link the ad. We link the sponsored posts that creator did, whether it's a podcast or a YouTube video or whatever it is. And you're able to actually see how that creator brought the campaign to life. And then not only that, do we link the piece of content, but we link that person's LinkedIn profile that we likely think is the brand contact who greenlit that partnership, their email address, pitching angles, stuff you could say when you actually reach out. And so 100% agree, Paxlight, like that is a really wonderful way to kind of just start doing like research on what's working. Right? And hold on, we got a testimonial. Shannon Skip to My Life says, awesome newsletter. Appreciate you. Awesome newsletter. Thank you, Shannon. Appreciate it. Paxton Poll says, I would say to subscribe to the Creator Wizard newsletter. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It really means a lot to me. Paxton Polls, can you tell me your name? Because I don't know your name, and I feel like I'm saying your username over and over. I appreciate it. Create Something Awesome Today is a book I'm wanting, said Aaron's House of Legos. Is that Roberto Blake's book? I can't remember if that's his book, because I think it is. And yeah, absolutely. Let's see here. There was another question. Oh, Shannon Skip to My Life had a question, kind of off topic. Does anyone have a recommendation for a good accountant who understands creators? Shannon, I think I mentioned this, but I posted a link in the private community to the Carrot. They have accountants now. They have tax preparers and bookkeepers and stuff. And I actually have a referral code for like a free consult. And let me see if I can quickly find the link for it. Because yeah, this is like a recent thing that I just did. Partners, and it's called Carrot Books. And okay, here. I'm posting this in the chat, so I apologize to those of you guys who are on TikTok. You can't see this. Oh, Paxton Poll says, you know me. Oh man, it's Jerry. What's going on, Joe Cole? I didn't know. This is your Finsta, huh? This is your, is it called Finsta if it's your alt TikTok handle? I don't know. Good to see you, man. Eugene G. Allison said, great tips. Appreciate it, man. Or maybe it's Eugene Gallison. I don't know. Good to see you, man. And so, yeah, so I just put the link in the chat. If you type in Creator Wizard for your referral code on Carrot, and you can get a complimentary consultation with Carrot. So they're Carrot Books, all their, bookkeepers or whatever. So yeah, absolutely, Shannon. Let me know how it goes. All right, so, oh man, we got architectural sheet metal, and Aaron said, I am signing up for your newsletter right now. I appreciate it. Let's get some applause. I haven't done any sound effects the entire live stream yet. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on here yet, but I gotta put some applause in the chat here for that. So let me know in the chat, what are your questions about brand deals, negotiations, sponsorships? My time is your time on these live streams, as you know, every single week. I love talking about all of this stuff. And yeah, I actually have a Mindset Monday. Guys, exciting development here for the newsletter. The newsletter is going to 3 times a week. Can you believe it? Holy cow. So Mondays are going to be Mindset Mondays. As you know, I've started doing these digests all around, or not these digests, these kind of editorial letters around, things that go on between our ears as creators, the things that hold us back, imposter syndrome and having confidence and all this stuff all around working with brands and partners and all this stuff. And so that's Mindset Mondays. Thursdays is going to be what I'm now calling Take Action Thursdays. Take Action Thursdays is the sponsorship newsletter, right? Where the opportunities where you can go out and pitch brands and get business and all that stuff, make money. And then Saturdays now are going to be Strategy Saturdays. So this is actually going to be the evergreen nurture sequence where, I've been writing newsletters now for like 2 years. And so I've got all of this kind of back catalog of content of newsletters that I've sent out over the last 2 years that I'm going to be basically kind of repurposing into a nurture sequence that you get sent once a week every Saturday, which is like, my old articles and my old videos and all this stuff too. So 3 times a week. Can you believe it? Can we get some hell yeah in the chat? Can we get some golf claps? Can we get some mind blown emojis? Because I'm really excited. I'm really, really excited. Monica said, thank you for everything. Of course, Monica. Shannon is saying, tell us more about the podcast. Okay, for those of you guys who didn't know, I am launching a podcast. I've mentioned it a little bit here and there, mainly on Twitter, but I'm launching a podcast and recording the first episode soon. Let me. I'm just gonna tell you. You guys are like my BFFs on this live stream. So I'm gonna tell you. You heard it here first, okay, guys. The podcast is called Creator Debates. And the format is going to be every episode, it's going to be 2 different creators debating a hotly contested topic in the creator economy. So long form video versus short form, Twitter versus Instagram, YouTube versus TikTok, right? Courses versus memberships, paid newsletters versus free newsletters. You name it, we're going to be covering it. It's going to be it's going to be fun. It's going to be stupid. It's going to be silly. There's going to be lots of unnecessary sound effects. There's going to be buzzers. It's going to be like a political debate. There's going to be 2 people. I'm the moderator, and there's going to be 2 different creators, and I'm going to be moderating. There's going to be rounds. There's going to be rebuttals. There's going to be closing arguments. It is going to be so much fun. I'm really, really excited. I'm like tapping into my network to record, just from friends and different creators and all that stuff to do different episodes. But I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. And if I could toot my own horn real quick, I got the newsletter sponsored before I even launched it, y'all. Like, holy cow. Can we get some cha-chings? Can we get some applauses? Can we get some hoorays? Let me know in the chat. Like, are you guys stoked for this? Are you going to subscribe to Creator Debates? Does this sound like something that's going to be fun? I am really excited about this. This is going to be like, it's been a while since I've been like, okay, I do a lot of stuff that's like educational, right? But, and some of it, I try to inject my personality and my humor and all that stuff in all the content that I do. You probably see it. But at my core, I'm a really silly person. If you ever met me in real life, like I make jokes all the time. Like truly, I'm just like, I just love like, just like shooting the S basically. And so I feel like I haven't yet had a creative outlet where I could do that and like kind of be myself and just be silly and fun and like all this stuff. And so I really wanted to create something where I would have energy and excitement to do it, So I thought about, creating a podcast all around sponsorships and all this stuff. And we'll talk about that obviously on the podcast, but I love talking about all these other different types of topics and stuff. Actually, that's one of the fun things about the evolution of my journey doing content all around sponsorships is that I went real niche for a long time all around sponsorships. I'm still doing it. That's like my main focus. But now that I've established credibility as someone who knows what they're talking about and someone who provides value and gets people results and all that stuff. Now it's like I went narrow and now I'm slowly starting to kind of back up a little bit and do things that are a little bit outside of sponsorships because I do love talking about diversifying your, revenue streams, affiliate marketing, merchandise, like email list strategy, newsletter stuff, all, course, designing courses, memberships, all that stuff. And so I'm really excited to kind of have an outlet, a creative outlet to talk about that kind of stuff too. So yeah, Monica said, oh, I love that. Finally, a different style podcast. I'd love to be on an episode. Yeah, subscribe into your podcast. Monica, why do I not, what is your channel? Monica, is it just your name? Do you have a different handle that I don't know about? I don't know. Let me see. You'll have to send me your profile. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's going to be really fun, and I'm gonna try to get like different types of guests too, like not just like the standard people. Like I really want to pull from like different. I want to do an episode all around like hustle culture versus like intentional life design. I already have someone who I'm like two people that I want to get on there, but it's like, these people who are just like, you've seen them all like hustle, like post 5 times a day and like blah, blah, blah. Right. And it's like, it's fine. Like it's, it's one approach, right? One opinion. And then, but the other, side of it is like, okay, maybe it's okay to like not do that. And maybe it's okay to only post like once a week. And maybe it's okay to like not make millions of dollars. And it's okay to just make $100,000 to like be really happy or whatever. So these are the types of like conversations that I want to have. I actually have one of the first episodes, or one of the ones we're going to do in the first season is going to be all around video versus non-video podcasts, because this is like a hot debate. Is like, okay, YouTube is going really heavy into podcasts now, and that from a discoverability standpoint, obviously it's nice to have like video so you can like repurpose clips from the podcast on social media and TikTok and Reels and all that stuff. And so I have two really great guests who are going to be on both sides of this issue. And I'm going to make people pick sides, right? And so you have to be pro and you have to be con. So it's going to be fun. So anyways, can you tell I'm really excited about this? I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited because yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. And yeah, first episodes probably are going to drop in January sometime. I got to get those episodes recorded and stuff. Yeah, really excited, super excited. Man, we're almost at time. What the heck? How did that happen? We've got Kim Albon tuning in. And let's see. Hold on a second here. Eugene, let me just pull this up real quick. Eugene Gallison just said, I'm glad your advice got me a brand deal that paid me $32,000 for a month collaboration. Like, holy cow here. Let everyone right now, we're going to stop. We're going to do some golf claps. We're going to do some mind blown emojis. We're going to do the little emoji with the $ tongue in the chat right now for Eugene. Pause. We're doing this. Everyone who's on this live stream, everyone on TikTok, I want to see those emojis in the chat, because Eugene, that is crazy. Tell us more about the deal. How did you get it? What was the advice that you felt I gave you that helped you get this collaboration? I'm really curious. I want to know, because that's dope. I am so proud of you, man. That's incredible. Yeah, Skincare Nerd said, there we go. That's incredible. Man. This makes my life. This makes me so happy, y'all. Like, this makes me so incredibly happy. Oh, my goodness. Monica said, I am an author, Amazon bestseller, co-author with Ray Higdon and 29 other authors called Social Impact. Wow, that's so cool, Monica. Congratulations. Unbelievable. Carol, okay, yeah, we got Shannon, we got Carol, we've got the emojis coming in here. Jasmine Bautista says, do you have your own creator agency? I used to, Jasmine. I shut it down about 3 months ago. I ran an agency for about 7 years, and now I am focused on creator education. I teach creators all around sponsorship strategy. So if you're not on my newsletter, I would really recommend you do so, creatorwizard.com/join, because I send you sponsorship opportunities every single week for free. So definitely check that out. Yeah, Monica says, wow, Eugene, great job. Absolutely. Y'all, we are at the end of today's live stream. Thank you so much for tuning in each and every week. I always appreciate y'all so much. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season. Definitely, I would really recommend signing up for my newsletter, because on Monday, I'm going to be sending out a Mindset Monday all around how you can make money in the last 15 days of December, like before basically December 20th, when everyone goes out of the office and you can't hear from anyone. There is some very specific things that you can do to make some last minute dollars before the end of the year closes. Typically, you know me, I'm always on like, hey, you need to be reaching out to brands way earlier than now if you want to like do some holiday campaigns. But there's a couple different things that you can do to actually get some of those last minute holiday budgets. And so really recommend signing up for my newsletter because that's going out on Monday morning. Monica said, I love your trainings. Thank you so much, Monica. Thanks for tuning in. And architectural sheet metal. Thanks for, looking forward to the podcast. Absolutely, man. Really appreciate it. And Jared, thanks again, man, for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend, y'all. And I'll see you